I'm from Peoria, Illinois. My mother got pregnant with me when she was a teenager and then proceeded to have my three brothers. And so she didn't have the opportunity to get an education. She didn't have the opportunity to have a career. And when I was a teenager and my twin brothers were just about 3 years old, our father left us. And so all of a sudden, my mother, who had no education besides high school, who had never had a job, was really left to support four young children. And with no education and no work experience, she did every low-paying job that you can imagine, and most of them at one time. And where my luck really comes to play was that I was super fortunate that she wanted me to have a better life. And I think a lot of young mothers that were in her situation would have wanted me to stay home and help with the kids, which I did, and to have a job that would supplement the income, which I did. But she very much said, you have to go on to college, and that's the way you have more options. So I was very fortunate to have that kind of push, because I think the background that I had, it could have easily been one where I wouldn't have been able to go to college and then on to graduate school, and then start an amazing career in the food business, where I've been an executive at companies like PepsiCo and Heinz and Hostess and Best Foods. And I really attribute that all to going back to, as a teenager, having my mother's life derail and having her make sure that my life was better. About 6 years ago, when I took the Rudy's Organic Bakery job, I made a commitment that I wanted to stay in Boulder. And with that, I started to get involved in the University of Colorado, and then with a number of companies here locally, and then deeply engaged in mentoring both young people and also entrepreneurs. So Jane Knows is my career advice website, and it was really born of the idea that there are so many difficult things that someone has to navigate in their career, but they don't necessarily have all the answers, and you can't get it in a book, except for my book, of course. And so Jane Knows was to be this go-to free advice place for people to go to ask questions, to see videos, to read my blogs on different topics. And I really tried to focus on not just Jane Miller opining on whatever's happening in the world, but instead me giving advice that you can actually read about something I have an opinion on, but then have it be applicable to what you're doing in your life. So Jane Knows has, as it evolves, will become more and more of a resource center, I think, for young people starting their careers. And eventually we have a dream of it becoming a bit of an institute, where it will be the place where people can go for real solid curriculum that can help build their soft skills in particular. I think I would say the best thing really builds on the mentorship idea, which is to early on build a personal advisory board. Because what I've seen in my experience in my career is that when you try to do things on your own, when you try to figure things out all by yourself, you don't always get to the right answer. But if you have people that you trust, that you can run ideas by, that you're going to have a chance, when you say something out loud, it's a lot different than when you just kind of say it in your head. And I think the best piece of advice I would give to anyone is make sure you are surrounded by people that you trust, and then people will help you make good decisions. Jane Knows is alive and well, and we're just really trying to figure out how to even make more impact with that. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to start bringing in more guest bloggers to hear more voices besides my own. For me, I've just taken the CEO job with a startup company based in Santa Barbara, so I'll be commuting between Boulder and Santa Barbara, which is a pretty nice gig if one has to do it, and it's a new product that I'm going to help take national. So very excited. It's so interesting. My career started doing really big things with big companies. Then most recently I ran Rudy's Organic Bakery, which was about a $100 million company, and now this is a company that's under $1 million in sales that I think can be at least a $100 million business in the next couple of years. And so I'm really, really excited about that, because I've been giving so much advice and mentoring to young people about how to start a business. Now I actually have to put my money where my mouth was at and see if I can do what I've told everybody else to do. Just very thankful for this opportunity. I think the Chamber does just really terrific work in the Boulder area, and I think to be able to be a part of that is a real honor.